Jimmy, you want to start letting people in? Good afternoon, everyone. We'll get started in a few minutes. All right, I think we'll go ahead and get started. I want to be respectful of everyone's time. Can we have the next slide, please? So these are our typical meeting guidelines. Just please stay muted so that we can prevent the background noise. You can use the hand raise feature or submit your questions through the Q&A, which I'm sure Karen is putting in the chat. Next slide, please. I'll give you guys about 30 seconds. If you haven't already signed in, you can scan this QR code and do so. Okay, next slide, please. So we only have 2 updates, and this is just letting everyone know that cohort 6 readiness application is open, and the deadline to submit your desire to be in cohort 6 for the fee schedule is January 16th, 2026. If you need any assistance completing the application, your specialist, Karen, Alex, or Marwa can assist. I can assist, and many of us that are using Healthy Campus as an EHR, they're also willing to assist with completing this application. Next slide, please. And we got another extension. So we received another extension. So now the capacity grant funds has been extended to June 30th, 2028. So what that means is as long as you still have money, capacity grant money to use, you can, draw it out until June 30th, 2028. However, if you still ended by the June 30th, 2026 deadline, you will not have to submit any more progress reports. But the longer you extend using your funds, the more progress reports that you would have to submit. Are there any questions about that? No? Okay. Next slide. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Marwa, who's going to talk to us about the tracking tool that we're using for progress report number 2.
Okay, so today we're going to actually walk through the progress report tracking tool, and then we're going to actually have an opportunity at the end of this to get into our breakout session and just be able to dabble into it and familiarize ourselves with this tracking tool. So this tracking tool looks a little bit different than the one that we used last year. This was actually created by Sacramento County Office of Education, who's the state lead for CYBHI's capacity grant. And so really the intention behind this tool is to not only keep you guys organized, but just make sure that the deliverables and the budgets are accurate and aligned. So one of the things I want you guys to keep in mind when you're filling this tracking tool out is that you want to make sure you indicate activities from July 2025 to January 31st, 2026. And then we're also going to follow the same process that we did last year. So you're going to go ahead and complete this tracking tool and then submit it to your point of contact. And then we're going to go ahead and review it. If we have any feedback, we're going to send it back out to you. And then once it's approved, then we'll go ahead and provide you with the Qualtrics link so you can submit this information on there. Next slide. So before we jump into how to use the tracking tool, you want to make sure that you download a copy of the spreadsheet, which we'll share at the end of this office hour. And you want to make sure you include the name of your LEA in the document. So make sure you save it. And I give an example here, like Sunny Hills USD _ progress report. Then you want to make sure that you fill out the basic information under the instruction tab. And I will show you where this is at after we just touch a little bit about a quick overview before we get into the tracking tool. But you want to make sure that you fill out this basic information. So include the County Office of Education, which is SBCSS, the name of your LEA. Everyone should indicate no when they're asking for if you're part of a consortium, because none of our LEAs that are participating in the capacity grant are a lead or participating in any consortium. I do want to spend a little bit of time though in the tab where it's asking about your LEA allocation. So you want to be very, make sure that you indicate the exact dollar amount in this section. Do not round up, do not round down. So like, for example, if you received $250,000 and 66 cents, you want to make sure you indicate that in that section, because that's going to help as you're filling out this tracking tool. It's going to help calculate the budget at the end. Next slide. Okay, so this is a quick overview of the spreadsheet tabs. So 1 through 7, you guys are very familiar with, because these are the categories that you decided to put your money into. 8 and 9 are actually new to the Excel book. So the budget check is basically going to be a summary of the total budget for this this grant. So this is where you'll be able to make sure that the information that you put into 1 through 7 is actually reflected in tab 8. And then Qualtrics formatted budget, this is the section where you'll just basically copy and paste this information into the Qualtrics link. And I'll show you an example when we get into how to use it. Next slide, please. So before we get into how to utilize this tool, I do want to point out that you want to make sure that you have your previous progress report that you submitted back in July. So make sure to reach out to your point of contact if you don't have that information, and we'll go ahead and provide you with a PDF report from Qualtrics. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen really quick to show you how to use it. Okay, let me know, because I can't see you guys. So can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. So this is the instruction tab that I kind of briefly went over right now. It just talks about what each spreadsheet tab is, and then how to utilize this specific Excel book. This is where you would input the information. So SBCSS, Sunny Hills Unified School District, and then you would indicate no and no over here because this is where it's asking if you're part of a consortium. Here is where you would indicate the exact dollar amount. As you can see, I put $250,000 and 66 cents. So we're going to pretend that this is how much Sunny Hills USD received. So most of our money is in service delivery. So we're going to go here. When we're using this tracking tool, you want to make sure you indicate, the first thing you want to indicate is how much you've allocated for this specific category. So we allocated $150,000 and 66 cents in this specific category. You'll notice that this red will appear. So actually I'll show you. When it's 0, it's gone. But when I put in $150,000 and 66 cents, the red font will come up and it's saying that the operational readiness area budget does not equal to the sum of the PFA budget. And that's because over here we have 0, 0, 0, 0, so it's not adding up to this total. And this is going to help you recognize if you're putting in wrong information or if the numbers are not adding up. So we're going to go ahead and pretend that we selected this PFA, so we're hiring and contracting an eligible provider to increase school and school site capacity. We're going to purchase supplies and technology, and then we're going to cover costs for conferences and professional development. In this section over here, you're going to make sure to include an update on your deliverables. So if you were planning on hiring, let's say, a school-based mental health counselor, you're going to include here that, we've onboarded the school-based mental health counselor and they started on this date. So just try to be as detailed as possible. And also, again, this is an opportunity for you to, if you're changing any deliverables, like making changes to a deliverable, this is your opportunity to include that in this box. So then you're going to, in this section, you're going to include the specific amount indicated for this PFA. So here, let's say we've allocated 100,000 and 66 cents. Oh, 100,000 and 66 cents for this specific PFA. Then you'll indicate here how much you've spent so far. So we've only spent, I don't know, $65,000. But you notice I didn't put $65,000, I put $650,000. So the exclamation point came out because that's incorrect. So it will catch those mistakes as you're filling it out. So here for supplies, we allocated, let's say, $25,000. We spent nothing so far because we haven't obtained any quotes or whatever it may be. And then here we have another $25,000 for professional development and conferences, and we've spent all our money in that section. So you notice now the red font, it has disappeared because all the math is adding up to this specific budget. But we have still a remaining $100,000, which is in our data collection and documentation. And let's pretend that we didn't participate in the countywide EHR and we want to purchase our own. So we're going to go ahead and pick that and then put in $100,000 here. You'll notice the red font or red text comes up because the math isn't adding up to $100,000. But we're putting $100,000 here because for our EHR, and we haven't spent anything yet. So that's all for this section. Now the two tabs that I was talking about that are new in this Excel book is the budget check. So this is where your budget allocations will automatically populate based on what you put into the other categories. So you'll notice that the total budget is indicated here. This is how much you've spent by January 31st, 2026. So this should say January 31st, 2026, but we aren't able to change or make any changes to this because it's locked and the state created this. But just keep that in mind when you're filling this out. And this is how much you have left in your total budget. But then it also breaks it down into sections. So we have service delivery, infrastructure, and capacity building. This is how much you've allocated. This is how much you've spent. This is how much that's left over, and then so forth. So here it will also indicate red if it's incorrect. But since everything looks correct, we'll move on to this tab, and this is where you can copy and paste the information into your Qualtrics report. Let me see if I missed anything. You also want to make sure when you're copying and pasting the information into Qualtrics report, this is just the budget section, but you also want to make sure that you're copying and pasting this section as well, where the updates on your deliverable, because they're going to be asking what have you done for each PFA that you've selected. I don't know if I missed anything, but do you guys have any questions so far?
Okay. We thought adopting the SCOE tracking tool might be a little helpful because we got a lot of panic phone calls last progress report where we were off by like $7 or 8 cents, and we had to keep redoing the formula in order to catch the error. So we're hoping that this will reduce the amount of errors that anyone experiences. Elizabeth, I see your hand up. Go ahead and ask your question.
If we have already spent all of our funds from the grant before July 2025, do we still have to do this progress report number 2?
Yes, progress report number 2 is due in January, and you will likely still have to do the July 2026 progress report. Right. Because that's when the grant was supposed to end, and it might just be simple, and it's just, you know, we've exhausted all of our funding.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions? No questions? Okay. Are there any questions in the chat? I mean, Google Docs? No? Okay. So Marwa already covered this, that you'll receive red warnings if there's any errors in your budget. Next slide, please. And the progress report is due to SBCSS by December 12th at 4 p.m. We still need to review them and send you all the Qualtrics links, and we need time to get that done by the actual deadline to the state. Next slide, please. So another opportunity to ask any questions. It could be related to the progress report. It doesn't have to be related to the progress report. Does anyone have any capacity grant fee schedule questions for us? No? Okay. So what we're going to do is create 3 breakout rooms. One will be for Karen, Alex, and Marwa, and we would like you to join your specialist group so that they can provide you with some more guidance regarding the tracking tool. And if you're not sure what group or what specialist room you belong to, there's a list up on the screen.
Hey, Veronica, I don't see a link to go into Mara's.
Okay, let me assign you to Marwa's.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Does any, Angie Lavarius? Do we know what LEA? Angie, are you able to tell us what LEA you're with?
The same thing, the same way you're asking, like, which class is this? Like, there's a few things missing that'll help us identify quickly.
Is that name familiar to any of you guys?
No, not to me. I don't know who that is.
Hi, Renee. What LEA are you with? What
Sorry,
school?
SOAR Charter Academy.
SOAR? That's Alex. I'm gonna assign you to Alex's room, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Did it work? There it goes. Okay. Angie, if you can hear us, let me know. All right, Marissa, I don't know if you want to float in.
Work. It's helping. It's just, it's like been like pulling teeth. And so I was sharing with Alex, like, well, this was a blessing too, to kind of bridge the gap. Where it's yeah, the bridge grant. So that's, we did submit our letter of interest for bridge grant, but we haven't heard anything back. I don't know if that's the one where everyone's at. But I'm really nervous because we're an early notification district and we have to make decisions early, and a significant number of people are losing positions if I can't get it up and running. Like my community school staff.
Okay, I'll find out what meeting some of these folks mentioned to us earlier, and I'll get the details to you by this afternoon. But it was not the bridge.
Oh, it wasn't.
No. That 20 million is only for cohorts 1 through 3, and it's going to be allocated to the folks in the fee schedule.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we're crossing fingers. We haven't heard anything yet.
I'm sure it will come our way. They've been very fair with distributing, these grant funds throughout all the 58 counties, and just praying that things will also, change soon.
Oh, yeah, that's good. I was just gonna ask, what's the status?
Yeah, we're always on the hunt for any additional funding sources, just because we want to be able to continue providing these great services for kids.
Good. Antonio, you're already seeing the reimbursement, right? Yeah, because you guys have been. That's awesome.
So I don't know if everyone is going to rejoin, but if you guys don't have any other questions, then we can go ahead and end. I don't see Karen and Barbara, so maybe they
I'm sorry, I thought we were coming back. Okay.
Karen
Well,
looks
thank
like
you, guys.
she might still be in, and Marwa looks like she's still in, but your group came back here. So
Okay.
did you have any other questions, Kara?
No, we're good.
No? Okay.
Renee?
I'm gonna email Crystal Duncan over at Valdiview to get some details about that meeting she's in, and I'll forward it to you.
Thank you so much.
All right, you guys have a good afternoon, and if there's any ask, please reach out. We want to support you guys as much as we can.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye, Rini. Bye, Cara. Bye, Angie.
Bye.
They were really quick with their questions.
Yeah, they had Brian, their guy, the one
Veronica,
that works.
Karen's group is heading back into the main room. I didn't know if you wanted to say anything and then dismiss the group.
No, I thought Karen said that she was gonna.
I was in there, so I said that Alex's team came back to the main room. I didn't know if you wanted to.
Oh, it's up to them. If they want to come back and I can answer any questions, or they can,
Dismiss.
like, I think they, people felt more comfortable in their little groups. But I'll hang out here because I think Marwa's still in too, right? Marwa's still out. Her group is still.
Yeah, I think Mara's group is still.
They're still talking.
Mara's group is still chit-chatting, yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Veronica, you gotta just say caso cerrado, done.
We can't do that.
So this is Karen's group coming back. Veronica.
If you guys had any additional questions, I'm here if you need it, if you had any other questions. Otherwise, we can wish you a good afternoon and give you about 30 minutes of your life back to focus on other academic tasks. No questions? Go ahead, Rachel. Nope.
We don't have any questions from Victor Valley Union. Just thank you all for your time. We appreciate it, all the information.
All right, perfect. Okay, well, thank you guys for your time. And I think our next meeting is December, but don't let me quote the date because it will be inaccurate. But we are here. Karen is your specialist. You guys can reach out anytime. And I'm also here. We like visiting. So anytime you want us to invite us on campus, we would love to come and check out your spaces that you're creating and the work that you're doing with the capacity grant. All right, you guys have a good afternoon.
You got more than that.
Marwa's got the chatty group, huh? Well, we can go, if we can't close this.